I died at 50, but the one who loved me most deeply. Shenbudu gave up an $800 million project in a heartbeat. She was ready to die with me in a sea of flames. In those final moments, she held my hand tightly, sobbing silently. In this life, I've waited for you too long. In the next life, you must find me sooner, promise. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to 15 years ago, the time I hated her the most. I didn't hesitate. I ran to her company. The moment we met, I choked up, apologizing. Shenbudu, I'm sorry. But after a brief moment of shock, she instantly regained her composure. Just say it straight. How are you planning to torture me this time? One midsummer afternoon, I woke up from a dream sitting blankly on the bed. Just then, the butler's voice echoed from the living room. Sir, the madam just called. She said she won't be coming home tonight. I didn't answer, slowly raising my hand to look at the brand new wedding ring on my ring finger. I couldn't believe it. I had really returned to 15 years ago, and everything in my memories was so vivid. The moment the explosion happened, Shenbudu was still comforting me. Fang Yu, don't be afraid. In this life, I've waited for you too long. In the next life, you must find me sooner, promise. For a moment, I didn't know if this was a dream or reality. Thinking this, I pinched myself. The sharp pain from my thigh woke me up. After the initial shock, what followed was agony and regret from my past life. Just because of a misunderstanding set up by others, I had hated Shenbudu for many years. During that time, competitors used every tactic to squeeze her out. While at home, she faced only my cold indifference. Shenbudu was an orphan from a young age, with no relatives to lean on. She fought alone in the commercial world for half her life. Only much later, when the misunderstanding was cleared, did we have half a year of happiness. We even had a child. It's just a pity that the accident happened before the baby was born. Lost in deep thought, the butler entered, interrupting. Sir, the flowers have arrived. Are you ready to leave? Flowers? Yes, they are ready. Aren't you going to visit Miss Liu Chaojiao? Liu Chaojiao. Suddenly hearing this name, I froze for a long time. She was my childhood sweetheart and also a very talented actress. But an accident left her with severe full-body burns, requiring a long-term hospital stay. On this day in my past life, I carried a bouquet of flowers to the hospital. I celebrated a birthday with Liu Jiaojiao. Then upon leaving the hospital, I caught sight of Shenbudu sitting in a car. At that time, I didn't want to explain anything. I didn't even want to see her. But Shenbudu had spotted me first. She stepped out of the car looking lonely. Today is my birthday. I stopped, turned back, and looked at her coldly. So what? Today is also Liu Jiaojiao's birthday. To force me to marry her, you stopped at nothing. Destroying her beauty and cutting off her future. What more do you want me to do? Facing my accusations, Shenbudu looked sorrowful. She opened her mouth helplessly, defending herself. That was just an accident. If you hadn't invited her that day, she wouldn't be in the hospital now. How can you expect me to believe it was an accident? Hearing this, she went silent, finally just saying one thing to me, I'm sorry. Since that day, the relationship between Shenbudu and me fell into an abyss, even starting a period of prolonged Cold War. Only later did I realize that even the incident Shenbudu thought was an accident was just a plot to sow discord, intended to tear us apart. The more I thought, the more dazed I became. The butler saw I wasn't responding, returning to the room. Sir, everything has been loaded into the car. We should leave soon or we'll hit traffic. Hearing this, I hurriedly put on my coat and got into the car. Only then did I realize that it was 15 years ago. Everything was still salvageable. The driver started the engine, merging into traffic. The road to the hospital is starting to jam, sir. Should I call Miss Liu to tell her to wait a moment? I watched the traffic, lights constantly changing colors outside the window, and quickly changed my mind. Don't go to the hospital, go to the company. Actually, I didn't have many impressions of Shenbudu's company. In my youth, because I hated her, so I never came. Later, when I loved her, it was exactly when she was targeted by enemies. Because it was too dangerous. Shenbudu wouldn't let me come look for her. So much so that at this very moment, standing beneath the office building, I was a bit lost. Think about it, which building is hers? Passers-by, all curiously, watched me. I looked down at the massive bouquet in my hands, feeling awkward, so I took out my phone and dialed. I thought I would have to wait a long time, but after only 2 rings, the line was answered. What is it? Hearing Shenbudu's voice, my eyes suddenly burned. Shenbudu, where is your office? I can't find it. The passers-by's gazes grew even stranger. Shenbudu seemed to be in a meeting. After hearing me, she paused slightly, then spoke. The meeting is paused. Wait for me in the lobby downstairs, I'm coming down. A few minutes later, I saw Shenbudu step out of the building. She was radiant and luxurious while I looked incredibly clumsy. Right when I was regretting not dressing properly. Before leaving home, Shenbudu had already walked up to me. Why did you come here? Her expression was quite cold. I lowered my head, not daring to look straight at her. I'm sorry for bothering you. Today, Shenbudu only said 2 words. It's okay, then said nothing more. I knew what she wanted to say. I should have been with Liu Jiao Jiao today, not appearing here. This suddenly reminded me, so I shoved the bouquet straight into her arms. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday. But the result was she stared fixedly at the bouquet for a long time, finally forcing a smile. Fang Yu, this is for her right. She doesn't want it right. I instantly realized her emotions weren't right, so I dropped my eyes to the bouquet, my heart suddenly sinking. Damn it, frozen blue roses. This was Liu Jiao Jiao's favorite flower. Upon waking up, memories were still too chaotic. Plus, my mind was only focused on finding Shenbudu, so I accidentally overlooked these small details. Sorry, I didn't... Before I could finish my sentence, Shenbudu firmly interrupted. Thanks for your birthday gift. It's late, let the driver take you home. After speaking, she turned around and prepared to leave. Luckily, I was quick-handed and sharp-eyed, immediately grabbing the hem of her jacket. Wait, I thought Shenbudu also didn't expect me to act like that. She was pulled by me, stumbling 1 step, colliding hard into my chest. A moment later, she looked up, staring fixedly at my fingers without a word. I still stubbornly held onto her jacket. Shenbudu, I'm not going home. Fang Yu, how are you trying to play with me this time? This question truly made it hard for me to answer. According to my memory, at this time Shenbudu and I hadn't been married long, and were having conflicts. The arguing was almost a one-sided venting from me. Harsh words were said, and even on holidays when I gave gifts, I deliberately aimed to cut into her heart. I was like the boy who cried wolf. I had lied too many times, so she would never believe me again. In my past life, after clearing up the misunderstanding, my tactics were very direct: pin her down and be done with it. After all, this woman looked cold on the outside, but was surprisingly easy to coax. However, that method might not be effective right now. Moreover, Shenbudu had suffered too much torment and grievance. I also wanted to make up for something. I'll treat you to a meal. Hearing this, Shenbudu lowered her eyes, responding coldly, No need, I still have to work tonight. Then order takeout, I said, shamelessly trailing behind her back. Order a bowl of longevity noodles for yourself. Shenbudu said nothing, not even bothering to pay attention to me. That bouquet was still gripped tightly in her hand. As we passed by a trash can, I thought she would throw it in without hesitation, but she didn't. She just walked straight into the office. I also followed closely. The office was empty. On the desk, there was only a lunchbox that had already gone cold. Was she planning to settle for this? Tonight. Thinking this, a sudden, inexplicable ache pricked at my heart. So I opened my phone and ordered a bowl of longevity noodles, with light broth and little salt. In the past, to cater to my taste, Shenbudu always ordered food with very bold, heavy flavors. It wasn't until much later that I realized her stomach wasn't good, and there were many foods she couldn't touch. After I finished ordering the food, I sat on the sofa not knowing what to say, while Shenbudu was taking off her shoes and wrapping the flowers, preparing to place them in a vase. The sight was an eyesore. So without a second thought, I stepped forward, snatched the bouquet, and tossed it straight into the trash can. Shenbudu was stunned by my actions, letting out a weary sigh. Fang Yu, haven't you made enough of a scene yet? Absolutely not. I was very angry. I was angry because why was she so indifferent? We don't need these flowers anymore. If you don't like them, I'll buy you another bouquet. Forget it, let it be. I didn't like flowers much anyway, but I ignored her, picked up the trash bag to throw it outside, leaving her with one sentence. You wait here for me, then hurriedly ran out the door. There were many street flower vendors along the road, though compared to flower shop quality, they were somewhat inferior. I ran through several stalls, buying out all the red roses, finally using simple wrapping paper to tie them into a large bouquet. Just then, the food was also delivered, so I came back upstairs laden with all sorts of items. The 19th floor was very quiet. Only Shenbudu's office still had a small light on. I stepped more lightly, pushing the door open to enter. The door bumped into something, letting out a loud crash. Shenbudu was startled, trembling slightly, and turned back to meet my eyes. I was panting heavily, hurriedly calling out, Hurry, come here. What are you standing there for? Help me with a hand. She seemed not to expect I would return, dazed for a moment before stepping forward to take the flowers and the food. I exhaled a breath. Although my forehead was drenched in sweat, I still smiled brightly. A gift for you. I bought every single red rose on the street. But the very next second, I saw a look of bewilderment appear on Shenbudu's face. I stopped. It seemed like something was wrong. She in the present didn't seem able to adapt to this treatment of mine. Is it possible she only accepts it if I'm aggressive? Seeing her still intending to go back to finish her cold box of rice, I immediately snatched it away. Shenbudu turned around almost instantly to look at me, her face even bearing a trace of tension. I glared at her and threw myself back against the sofa, pretending to be very impatient. Can't you eat hot food? Watching you eat that box of rice is annoying. Like that for the next half hour? My office was constantly filled with my nagging. Do you even know how to eat? Don't you see that big piece of beef over there? Why no veggies? You're so grown up, still picky. Eat the noodles I bought for you. Why are you just setting them out to look at? Actually, I was afraid she wouldn't be full, so I had also bought other pastries. Just as I was talking until my mouth was dry, a glass of water was suddenly brought in front of me. Looking up, I saw Shenbudu staring fixedly at me. Moisten your throat first, then keep scolding. Her expression had softened a lot, and she no longer guarded against me with cold indifference. I tried to suppress the urge to rush over and hug her. Shenbudu, let's live well together from now on, okay? Hearing this, she averted her gaze, then quietly cleaned up the bowls and chopsticks, completely failing to answer my question directly. I'll have the driver take you home later. But I just arrived. Before I could finish speaking, she had already nimbly pushed the door and stepped outside. That figure as if I were some kind of fierce beast or a flood disaster. Watching her departing silhouette, saying I wasn't disappointed would be a lie. Reborn once, why does it feel like coaxing this woman is even tougher than before? Thinking this, I collapsed onto the sofa, starting to think of my next strategy. Right then a piercing phone ring echoed. I looked. It was Liu Zhaojiao. Fang Yu. Where are you? Hearing that distant, yet familiar voice, my mood, which had been quite good, plummeted straight to the bottom of the abyss. It's you. My tone was far from enthusiastic, but Liu Zhaojiao just went on as if she didn't sense it at all. I've waited for you for a long time. Didn't you say you would celebrate my birthday with me? Recalling everything from my past life, my fingers slowly tightened. Liu Zhaojiao. We've been friends since we were little, right? Fang Yu, we are family. I muttered the two words family, taking a deep breath. So do you have nothing to say to me? Hearing this, she paused, then sighed. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have hidden from you that I secretly ate the cake. See that? Why does the person who's pampered get to lie so blatantly, demanding to be pampered while Shenbudu must forever stand behind, shouldering everything? Just thinking about it made my whole body feel cold, unable to even laugh anymore. I'm busy today and can't make it over. Happy birthday. Click, I hung up. My heart felt lighter remembering that before being kidnapped, Liu Zhaojiao had called me once, asking where I was. My mind sank into thoughts of my past life. She was the person I trusted most. But what if from the very beginning, that explosion was the work of someone I knew? Thinking this, I looked up and saw Shenbudu standing outside the door. I didn't know how long she had been standing there. I looked at her hesitantly, asking, You heard everything. I heard it. Actually, my car is already parked. Downstairs. She looked too calm to the point where I opened, my mouth not knowing how to explain. Not until I followed her out to the door did that feeling become even more intense. I finally couldn't help but call out Shenbudu. Shenbudu just slowed down slightly, without ever turning back. I said just now it was Liu Zhaojiao calling me. Yesterday I did indeed promise to hold a birthday party for her, but I'm a different person today. I am. Before I could finish my sentence, Shenbudu suddenly turned around and cut me off. Enough. The next second, she shut her eyes tightly. Tonight's dinner was delicious. I'm also very happy that you could celebrate with me. So in the end, if you want to go find Liu Zhaojiao, I accept it. That is the price I have to pay. In my past life, Shenbudu once told me that, at that time, every good thing I gave her had to be paid for with even more suffering. Therefore, she never dared to dream of anything, always ready with the mindset that I would leave at any moment. So, this conversation now stabbed straight into my heart. On this day in my past life, I wasn't there. Her dinner was just a box of cold rice. There was no one to wish her a happy birthday. So she was waiting for me at the hospital gate. Shenbudu only wanted to hear me say happy birthday. But I told her not to be a busybody and to stay away from me. This belated truth weighed on me until I couldn't breathe. I stared fixedly at her, but when I met her gaze, she averted it. Sorry, it was a slip of the tongue. It's late. If you want to go to the hospital, hurry. My heart instantly sank. I hurriedly lunged forward, grabbing Shenbudu's hand tightly. Immediately after, I firmly interlaced our fingers. Her whole body stiffened, but she didn't pull away. Fang Yu, what are you trying to do? Are you mocking me for not being sloppy enough? The next second, I lowered my head, choosing to hug her neck. Wife, don't move. Then I just kissed her. I don't know since when. She also wrapped her arms around my waist. Our arms gradually tightened until I was pressed against her back. We were fused together for a long time before separating. Shenbudu leaned her forehead against me, panting. Fang Yu, don't do that, I'll... After speaking, she was silent for a long time before speaking again. Don't seduce me, while I still have my reason. Hurry and go find her. As I spoke, I blew gently onto her hand. Can you bear it? Aren't you jealous? Aren't you angry? Can you bear to let me go kiss someone else? Shenbudu seemed to have been provoked. As soon as I finished, she lowered her head as if venting her anger, forcefully blocking my lips. I felt her haste. The corner of my lips curled up. If I didn't use a strong enough drug, she could hold back for a long time. It was just that the next development seemed about to go out of control. I was suddenly vigilant. Shenbudu, what I mean is let's wait until we're home. I already gave you the chance. You were the one who didn't go. Now the opportunity is gone. Fang Shou, just you wait. I almost forgot that in our past life, she was literally a psycho who dared to die for love. As for me, I held her shoulders and whispered, Shenboyu, I've already thought of the names for our children. One name for a boy and one for a girl. I'll leave their nicknames for you to decide. In our past life, I had thought about it for so long but never got the chance to tell her. What answered me at first was a prolonged silence. And then Shenboyu finally spoke up, Fang Shou, stop talking. Do you not trust me? Shenboyu didn't give me another chance to speak, but scooped me up and walked straight into the office bedroom. In the middle of the night, throwing a childish tantrum, I stubbornly cried out that I didn't want her anymore. Shenboyu just silently held me close at first, then seriously asked, You don't want me? Then who do you want? Anyway, just not you. Your words don't count. When I drifted off to sleep, I dreamed of my past life again. Back then, Shenboyu rushed into the sea of fire, tightly hugging me as her entire body trembled. I saw her crying, but I could only weakly raise my hand to push her away. Get lost, Shenboyu! I told you to get lost. Don't touch me, I'm begging you. The scene was too brutal. So much so that when I opened my eyes, it took me a long time to regain my senses. Turning my head, I saw that Shenboyu had been pushed away by me all the way to the edge of the bed. She looked at me, then handed me a tissue. But she always kept a certain distance from me, her fingers consciously trying to avoid making contact with me. Seeing this, my heart sank. She was still misunderstanding. So I tried to initiate the conversation. Shenboyu, I was just having a dream. I dreamed that I was inside a fire with something tied to my body. I told you to go, but you stubbornly insisted on dying with me. That's why I screamed those words, don't misunderstand. Hearing that, Shenboyu's eyes only lit up for a brief moment before returning to their original state. Okay, I believe you. After saying that, she carefully tucked me in, hugged her pillow, and prepared to walk out. I hurriedly called her back, shouting at her back in a complaining tone, You liar. Seeing that she remained silent, I grabbed a pillow and threw it hard forward. Just go then, you heartless, ungrateful turncoat. You got what you wanted in bed, and now you're going to deny it, right? After saying that, I didn't even bother to look at her, turning my back to her and bundling myself up, completely under the blanket. After a fairly long silence, I felt the bed sink a little. It was Shenboyu. She let out a helpless sigh. Go to sleep now. Then she obediently hugged me close. Shenboyu soon drifted off to sleep. I stared blankly into the darkness, no longer feeling sleepy. Too much information had tangled into a complete mess in my head. The kidnapper who locked me up in that abandoned factory in my past life was a boss who used to cooperate with Shenboyu. And that incident that happened to Lu Jiaoyao back then was actually a conspiracy, schemed by my second uncle to drive a wedge between me and Shenboyu. All of these things were the truth. I only found out during the final year of my past life. My whereabouts had always been heavily protected by Shenboyu. In my past life, it was exactly on the way to a prenatal checkup with Shenboyu that I was targeted by those bad guys. But how did the other party leak the information? The only possibility was through that phone call Lu Jiaoyao made to me. Including that very last moment, Shenboyu once said I should actually thank Lu Jiaoyao. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to find you. Looking back now, my childhood friend, the one I used to trust the most, Lu Jiaoyao, what kind of role did she actually play in all this? Thinking too much when I woke up the next morning, my head was throbbing with a splitting headache. Shenboyu, seeing I couldn't get up, asked, What's wrong with you? Get up and eat breakfast. Not eating. She was completely unmoved, making me extremely frustrated. I don't like this younger version of you at all. I like the you from 15 years later. Go away and grow older. Don't block my sleep. Don't disturb me anymore. Saying that, I turned over and slept all the way until the afternoon. Shenboyu must have guessed that I would probably wake up from hunger. When I opened my eyes, lunch had already been neatly set up on the table. After a quick brush and wash, I set off to look for her. Inside the office, a video call meeting was ongoing. Almost the exact moment I opened the door, Shenboyu raised her eyes to look over. Meeting her gaze, I awkwardly coughed a few times. Confirming no one else was around, I walked over to sit opposite her, then turned on my phone. As a result, I discovered Lu Jiaoyao had left me 5 or 6 missed calls and sent over 10 text messages, all during the early hours of the morning. At that time, I must have been fast asleep. Why didn't the ringtone wake me up thinking about this full of suspicion? I stared intently at Shen Boyu. She was focusing on her screen, completely refusing to give me even a single glance. So I crossed my legs, intentionally rubbing back and forth against her leg under the table. Sure enough, within less than a few seconds, Shen Boyu's voice while speaking suddenly faltered. Well, let's stop today's meeting here. Right after saying that, she slammed her laptop shut. Following that, she leaned back into her CEO chair, knitted her brows, and called out, Fang Shu? Last night she was still calling me Shu Shu, and now it's back to Fang Shu again. CEO Shen did my phone ring last night. I'm not sure. Is that so? I stood up, leaning over the desk, my fingers wrapping around a strand of her hair as I closed the distance between us. Shen Boyu's breathing visibly became erratic, yet she still tried to put on a serious face to remind me, Fang Shu, this is working hours. So do you want to or not? No. So I kissed her once again. Go wait for me in the next room, then we'll go home together. After returning to the room, I received another call from Lu Zhaoyao. Fang Shu, I've been discharged from the hospital. Why did you get discharged? Are you not continuing treatment? If my looks can never be restored, I choose to give up. I just want to live a peaceful life by your side. Hearing that, I frowned. There's inherently no possibility left between us anymore. Furthermore, I'm already married. Then what am I supposed to do? What do you take the promise between us for? Is it because my face is ruined? That you don't like me anymore? You were the one who said only by breaking up would the company promote you so you could advance further. But you promised you'd wait for me. Then how long were you going to make me wait? She clearly had countless chances to go public, yet she kept forcing me to wait. My second uncle was someone who would use any means necessary to achieve his goals. Ever since I was born, my parents had dumped me at home, and each settled down abroad to start new families. I was merely a chess piece for the Fang family. Lu Chaoyao back then was already making a name for herself on the big screen, while I was pushed to a dead end by my second uncle. On that roof, I called her for a very long time, but she didn't pick up. The next day, seeing her on-screen first kiss, my heart completely despaired, and so I accepted my second uncle's proposal. Therefore, at this moment, Lu Zhaoyao asked over the phone, Have you fallen for her? I replied without a single shred of hesitation, Yes, I love her. For the next few days, Lu Zhaoyao didn't send me any more messages. I had given it a lot of thought. To catch the culprit, who harmed me in my past life, I still had to borrow Shen Boyu's strength. Therefore, as the first step, I had to make her accept the fact that I was a reincarnated person lest she lock me up in a mental asylum. So within the span of 1 month, I told her the plots of 3 reincarnation novels. I told them so enthusiastically that I was sweating, but Shen Boyu completely misunderstood my intention. If you like them, I can invest to adapt them into a TV drama series. It's not about whether I like them or not. The main point is whether you like them or not. Whatever you like, I like. Is that so? Then try telling me your thoughts. And just like that, she shut up. Lately, she and I had been living together much more harmoniously. She spoiled me, practically obeying my every whim. But there was always a feeling that between the two of us, there was still an invisible curtain. Thinking about this, I pulled up a chair and sat down opposite her, opening my mouth with a serious expression. Shen Boyu, I think it's time I told you. She put down her chopsticks, putting on an obedient attitude to listen. Go ahead. Actually, just like in those novels, I am also a reincarnated person. But what answered me was a very long silence. I observed her closely and found that she seemed to be holding back a laugh. Fine, as expected, you don't believe me. No, I believe you, Fang Shu. Keep going. So I risked it all and spilled everything, accounting everything that happened in my past life from start to finish. At first, Shen Boyu listened to it like she was listening to a story. Then gradually she frowned tightly. I knew I had guessed it right. The one who harmed me had the surname Wang. Perhaps they were once employees at your company, then went out on their own to start a business. Of course, now that it is 15 years ago, I'm also not sure where that guy is. Also, my uncle was involved in this too. You have to watch out for him later. But before the words could leave my lips, they were cut off by a piercing phone ring. Shen Budu and I looked at the name on the phone screen at the same time. Due to my carelessness, the contact name for Liu Zhaojiao hadn't been changed yet. It was still Zhao Zhao. Seeing this, Shen Budu's expression immediately withdrew, returning to her cold look. I'm going to wash the dishes. She stood up to clear the table. That feeling appeared again. Were you intentionally avoiding me? Or is she afraid of me? I gritted my teeth, grabbed the phone, and followed her into the kitchen, then pressed speakerphone. Zhao Jiao! Perhaps this is the last phone call I'll ever make to you. Aside from her voice, there was only the sound of howling wind. What do you mean, where are you? The rooftop of the lecture building. Do you remember the day my parents left me? You said, the Fang family doesn't have anyone who truly treats you well. From now on, we can be family. At that time, I was planning to jump from this rooftop. It was you who stopped me, now that you don't need me anymore. I feel like I have no reason to keep living. Hearing this, my head throbbed. I hurriedly turned, grabbed my coat, and put it on. Zhao Zhao, don't do anything rash. Wait for me, I'm coming right now. Just as I hung up, I turned back and saw Shen Budu still standing with her back to me facing the sink. The next second, I rushed toward her impatiently. You silly girl! Why are you just standing there without changing clothes? She was pulled by me, stumbling a step, looking at me blankly. Changing clothes? It wouldn't be right to let me go alone. After all, I have a wife now, don't I? Shen Budu, I'll give you 10 seconds to take off that apron. I'll call someone for rescue right now. This is madness. She's jumping in front of so many people. What on earth is this? A minute later, Shen Budu stood at the door, clean and polished. Done changing, let's go. Seeing this, I was stunned. You operate so quickly. Luckily, we both knew how to drive, saving us the trouble of waiting for a chauffeur. The rescue team was already on the scene and informed me, don't maintain any contact with Liu Zhaojiao. Just clinging to a glimmer of hope like this. She won't do anything dangerous for the time being. This period is just right for dispersing the crowd. The wind on the rooftop was very strong. The rescue team stood 5 meters away, not daring to approach. I was brought up to the rooftop. Sir, she insists on seeing you. Please help us buy some time. I looked at Shen Budu once. She was blocked outside the perimeter. She nodded at me, so I took a deep breath and stepped onto the ledge. Liu Zhaojiao sat on the edge of the rooftop, slowly turning her head, revealing half of her scarred face. Fang Yu, you're here. Looking at her, I felt a sudden panic. It felt like I hadn't seen her in a very long time. In my past life, after clearing up the misunderstanding with Shen Budu, we had visited her a few times. It's just that Liu Zhaojiao was very resistant. Maybe for someone you've hated for many years, suddenly discovering the perpetrator wasn't that person makes it very difficult to let go of hatred. On top of that, later Shen Budu was caught in the crossfire, so I rarely left the house. Past life and this life. Combined, it had probably been over a year since we last met. Liu Zhaojiao, can you come down here first, please? She ignored me, just staring at me fixedly. I'm sorry. Then her gaze shifted toward Shen Budu behind me. You were right, I was too extreme. Clearly before we married, you already told me, we'll just be family from now on. I was too greedy. I recalled the years. Liu Zhaojiao and I leaned on each other to survive. When I was kicked out of the house by my uncle, she braved the rain in the middle of the night, bringing an umbrella to pick me up. Thinking of this, I was momentarily shaken. Was she truly the perpetrator who harmed me? You promised you'd celebrate my birthday with me every year. Sing me a birthday song. I'll come down right away, okay, sing. But when I sang, I thought, I don't think I've sung this for Shen Budu yet. Wait later. When I get back, I must make it up to her with a song. Finishing, Liu Zhaojiao stood up on the rooftop, facing me. Thanks, it's been many years since I heard you sing. It's very good. I want to ask you one more question. Go ahead. Do you still love me? I was silent for a long time before speaking. You are my family. Let's go home, okay, Liu? Zhaojiao didn't look at me. It seemed she was looking at Shen Budu. After a long time, she finally smiled at me. Fang Yu, I love you. After speaking, she spread her arms and fell backward. In that instant, my mind went blank. The next second, I lunged violently toward the ledge, but only grasped at thin air. I stared blankly downward. After hearing a dull thud, my legs went weak and I collapsed straight to the ground. Liu Zhaojiao. Just like that, she died. Could it be that I blamed her wrongly? We'd known each other for so many years. Because she realized my distancing, she chose it to end her own life? Does that mean I was the one who caused her death? My whole body went cold, sitting dazed, trembling uncontrollably. Right at this moment, a pair of warm arms hugged me. I felt like I'd caught a life-saving straw, gripping tightly onto Shen Budu's sleeve. I think I've caused her death. I'm here, don't be afraid. I don't know. I don't know what to do, I rambled. I'm sorry. She's not dead, don't be afraid. Shen Budu patted my back while leaning close to my ear, whispering an air cushion was pumped below. She was caught. It's okay. Hearing this, I shut my eyes and tears instantly flowed out. Shen Budu saw me like this and said, I checked, it was just a few scratches. She's already been taken to the hospital. If you want to go, I can take you. I want to stay with you. So Shen Budu and I returned to the car. Watching the rescue team gradually retreat, I felt exhausted. Before coming here, you still had one last sentence you hadn't told me. You suspected Liu Zhaojiao was also involved. Fang Yu, what if it turns out she wasn't? If she was innocent, would you choose her or me? Only when she asked this question did I finally breathe a sigh of relief. I sat up straight, then looked intently at Shen Budu. Do you remember when Liu Zhaojiao first debuted? Back then, we didn't know each other. I had already broken up with her. She debuted and acted in movies. Her fame grew larger. By the time I married you, we must have been broken up for over a year. I admit at first I hated you, just like I hated my uncle. hating those who entered my life without permission. Coincidentally, at that time, Liu Jiaojiao, on her way to eat with an investor, had a car accident. The driver was your person. So I treated you just like my uncle, a cold-blooded, vicious person. As soon as I finished, Shen Budu gently held my hand back. I'm sorry, it really was my fault. I hadn't thought things through properly. Didn't you already say it was your uncle's fault? You have no fault at all, whoever dares to scold you. I will go have it out with them. After I spoke, she was silent for a moment, then cut me off. Thank you. Thank you for what? It's the first time someone has defended me specifically. Hearing this, I felt another wave of guilt. Shen Budu truly had no one to protect her. Immediately after, she squeezed my hand even tighter. Can you tell me, when did you start liking me? There was one time you were drunk and came home hitting the scarf I knit for the puppy. In the middle of the night, you sat, cross-legged on the floor, studying how to knit it a scarf. I told you to go to sleep. You said if the puppy doesn't have a scarf, it will be cold in winter. So I thought, someone who cares whether a puppy is cold or not, perhaps wouldn't have the heart to harm others. Actually, there's one more point I haven't mentioned. That night, Shen Budu mumbled in her sleep, Fang Yu. I'm also very cold. At that time, I just happened to wake up in the middle of the night to get some water, and that's how I heard everything. Back then, I felt that she was actually very pitiful, completely alone with no one to love her. I recounted it with heartache while Shen Boyu listened intently. Are we going to raise a puppy? Yeah, for your birthday 7 years later, she gave you a puppy. You said because you were too busy and couldn't come home often, you wanted it by my side to keep me company. As I spoke, I happily counted on my fingers. Right now, it's probably someone else's stray dog, and hasn't even reincarnated. Yet, our puppy was exceptionally smart, learning whatever it was taught instantly. I even suspected it hadn't drunk Meng Po's soup yet. Halfway through speaking, I suddenly froze, and Shen Boyu was also stunned. What's wrong? I snapped out of it, tightly gripped her hand, and said, Lu Chaoyao, she's just like me. Like you in what way? I turned my head, my brows knitting closer together. On the rooftop, when Lu Jiaoyao jumped, she told me that it had been many years since she last heard me sing the happy birthday song for her. But clearly just last year I celebrated her birthday. Shen Boyu narrowed her eyes, instantly catching on. You mean in the past life? It had been many years, exactly. According to what she said, she had waited for my birthday song for many years. Then there's only this one explanation. Shen Boyu and I looked at each other and immediately drove to the hospital. But unexpectedly, when we reached the hospital, the doctor told us that someone had already picked Lu Jiaoyao up. We wanted to ask for more details, but the doctor used the excuse of not being able to disclose patient information to refuse us. In this situation, it was really hard to believe that Lu Jiaoyao had absolutely nothing to do with that matter. On the way back, I couldn't stop pondering over one question. Do you think she jumped down on purpose earlier? Shen Boyu held the steering wheel, her fingertips lightly tapping on it. Generally speaking, for places that aren't too high, air cushions will be set up underneath. If it were you, would you have 100% confidence to jump without dying? Thoughtfully stared at her side profile. Then what kind of mentality do you think she has to manipulate your pity so you'd take her side, that's all? This was truly the first time Shen Boyu across both lifetimes spoke to me with words so heavily dripping with jealousy. So I pursed my lips and solemnly nodded. I didn't expect you to be so free, huh? Women understand women best. I didn't expose her further, but just looked out of the window, sinking into deep thought. Warning Shen Boyu 15 years in advance to guard against the villains. Things shouldn't get any worse. Remembering her sacrifice regardless of her own life in the past life, my heart started to ache again. By the time we got home, it was already very late. The living room lights weren't on. Just as Shen Boyu was about to reach out to flip the switch, I aggressively pounced on her, immediately pushing her down onto the sofa. She was forced to spread her legs to both sides, using her strength to support her body. What are you trying to do? I leaned close to her ear and whispered, Shen Boyu, I love you. Wait a minute, get off me first. No way. I delivered myself right to your door and you're still rejecting me. Shen Boyu shyly used her hand to cover my eyes. I didn't know these 3 words, I love you, had such massive lethal power. Thinking of this, I grinned from ear to ear, repeatedly chanting to her, I love you. I love you. Pressing my hands against her body, I could directly feel her rapidly accelerating heartbeat. My teasing instinct kicked in, and I continuously said, I love you over 10 times. Just as I was about to stop, suddenly my lips were blocked. Shen Boyu was more aggressive than ever before. Her hands caressed the sides of my face, then slowly lifted me up. You disobedient thing, she said while letting out a sigh. Aren't you hungry? Hungry, but I want to eat you more. If you're hungry, you should eat food. Seeing that she was still completely unmoved, I decisively risked it. All, don't you want to Shenboyu? Shenboyu, pay attention to me. Don't play dumb anymore. I kept up my continuous attack. Shenboyu pinned my hands down firmly, giving me a long, deep look. Finally, seeing my determined expression, she eventually nodded. Fangshu, I've given you a chance. After this time, if you still want to leave, I will never allow it. Afterward, I deeply realized that Shenboyu definitely had some moves up her sleeve. As she lay beside me, time after time, she repeatedly asked in a whisper, "Are you mine?" Facing her intense possessiveness, I let out a soft, tightly hugging her back. "I'm yours, all yours. Everything is yours." After showering, I was dead tired from sleepiness. But the moment Shenboyu saw me lying down, she immediately snuggled close. "Fangshu, baby hubby, back when we first got married, you promised to go see a movie with me. But the next day you canceled the date because of a stomachache and went to the hospital. Was it to meet her? That was a matter from a very long time ago." I recalled for a bit, and it didn't seem to have anything to do with Lu Chaoyao. That day I had gastroenteritis and went to the hospital. After getting an IV drip, I went home and was completely bedridden. But listening to Shenboyu's tone, something seemed a bit off. In an instant, my sleepiness vanished without a trace. Seeing that I didn't answer for a long time, Shenboyu's expression fell. "I'm sorry. Don't apologize just yet. I'm not mad." As I spoke, I sat up cross-legged. "I'm just curious. Why did you think I went to look for Lu Jiaoyao? Theoretically, with her capabilities, she could easily track my schedule. But she didn't investigate at all." After a short silence, Shenboyu obediently confessed the truth. "I can see Lu Jiaoyao's pinned posts. Didn't you say she doesn't like posting on WeChat?" "It's not that she doesn't like posting on WeChat." Our eyes met, and both of us felt suspicious. So Shenboyu took out her phone and handed it to me. I couldn't wait to tap open Lu Jiaoyao's homepage. The moment I saw the contents inside, my head buzzed. August 9th. Today, Shoshu said he wanted to celebrate my birthday. Thank you, my love, August 1st. Got to taste a dish that Shoshu personally cooked. It's still the same flavor from the old days. I frantically scrolled down, all the way to a post from half a year ago. The movie is out in theaters waiting for Shoshu to come. It was exactly the day I had gastroenteritis. Yet when I opened my own phone, Lu Jiaoyao's WeChat homepage was completely blank. In reality, since after getting married, I very rarely interacted with her. I truly only regarded her as an old friend. But behind my back, time after time, she was hurting the person closest to me. I was so angry that my head throbbed. "And you actually believed this? There isn't even a single picture of me in there." Shenboyu lowered her eyes, staring intently at my phone. Only after a long while did she speak, "Fangshu." I didn't dare not to believe it. She continuously tapped open the post and then exited. I was afraid to send people to investigate, only to get the news that you and her were really sitting inside the movie theater. If that were the case, I'd rather not know. Hearing her say that, I felt both angry and heartbroken. Couldn't you have just asked me once? Halfway through, I suddenly froze. Right, how would she dare to ask? Back then, I would use vicious words on her at the slightest provocation. Thinking of this, I opened my arms and tightly hugged Shenboyu. "I was wrong, I'm sorry. From now on, I will never lose my temper at you again." Feeling my remorse, she let out a soft laugh, then kissed my earlobe. "No, I like the way you look when you're angry. It's very cute. Just never say that you don't want me anymore." That night, the final distance between us completely melted away. It's just that after a few days of living peacefully, I discovered that Shenboyu was truly someone who, if not scolded by me for a day, would feel completely restless all over her body. So one day I exploded again. "Shenboyu, do you want to freaking die at the company? Should I award you a banner for professional excellence and dedication?" Why make it sound so serious? I can still hold on. In the middle of last night, she ran a high fever, and I had to call the family doctor to prescribe fever reducers. With half coaxing and half forcing, I finally got her to take the medicine. Not until near dawn did her fever finally break. I had already written down a light menu for her to eat when she woke up. Who would have thought that at 8 a.m. she had already gone to work? Perhaps because of the trauma from my past life, I paid extra attention to her safety. So after finishing breakfast, I brought along some porridge and hurriedly rushed over to her company. The moment the secretary saw me, she nervously stood up abruptly. "CEO Shen is currently in the room. It's inconvenient to receive guests." "It's fine, I'll just wait a bit." After saying that, I sat down on the sofa outside the door and played on my phone. Gradually, I caught the sound of Shenboyu's voice. "I gave you a chance. It's because you didn't know how to grasp it yourself. CEO Shen, you clearly set a trap intentionally to make me commit a mistake. So what if I did? You being like this is completely unreasonable. I'm a businesswoman. I have never been reasonable with anyone. I rested my chin on my hand, listening very seriously, while the secretary was about to be scared out of her wits. Right at this moment, the door was forcefully pushed open. I only saw a middle-aged man rushing out from inside, his face full of rage. Before leaving, he even gave me a threatening glare. It was precisely this gaze that made me freeze, because this man was the very culprit who kidnapped me in my past life, before I could even react. The secretary, breaking into a cold sweat, raised her voice. "CEO Shen, your husband is here." Only then did I snap back to reality. I looked at the hurrying back of the leaving culprit, then carried the lunchbox and stepped inside. Shen Boyu was sitting by the window. Hearing the sound of my footsteps, she turned her head and gave a gentle smile. I was going to head back this noon. I placed the lunchbox down on the table. "Did that guy just now scare you? I'm sorry, next time I'll watch my tone." Seeing her lower her voice so softly, I scratched my head. "No, this man, he's the one who kidnapped me that I told you about last time." Hearing this, Shen Boyu instantly withdrew her smile. "I know, just leave it to me to handle." "Okay, I trust you. But since things have come to this, let's eat first. I personally cooked this. Taste it and see." However, during the meal, because Shen Boyu ate so exceptionally elegantly, I kept my eyes glued to her, temporarily looking a bit dazed. "Why do you keep staring at me? Do you want to eat with me?" "No." As I spoke, I shrank back, looking entirely flustered. About that." Shen Boyu stopped her hands again and let out a sigh. "Do you want to buy something or what? If you want to buy anything, just use the card I gave you. Or wait for me to finish work, then I'll go with you." I bit my tongue, my ears turning completely red. Could you use that same tone from earlier to talk to me?" "What?" I covered my face, practically wanting to crawl under the table. "You're seriously so gentle like that?" Shen Boyu put down her chopsticks, then fell into a deep silence. I recalled a certain night before this, when my brain short-circuited, and I told her to look at me like I was trash. Suddenly, I felt a bit regretful. Some flirtatious lines really just slip out of my mouth without thinking. Shen Boyu swallowed her food, looked at me, and smiled. I felt a little embarrassed. "Don't laugh. Hurry up and forget what I just said." "I won't forget. I will never ever refuse any of your requests." As a result that day, everyone in her company saw me, blushing furiously as I rushed out of her office. After tangling with each other for so many years, only recently did it truly feel like we were in a passionate relationship. Shen Boyu's WeChat had been confiscated by me. Every few weeks I'd post some failed kitchen creations, or blurry couple photos taken on a whim, along with some incredibly cheesy, cringe-worthy captions, like an elementary schooler. Shen Boyu once tactfully reminded me, actually I still have quite a few business partners on my friends list. The underlying meaning was that it was really a bit embarrassing. But seeing how I was having fun and never getting bored, she also flat out accepted. Everyone's teasing comments. Lu Chaoyao seemed to have completely vanished from my life. Occasionally seeing students leaving school, I would still think about the past days, but my intuition told me that things wouldn't end this simply. Shen Boyu became extremely busy, leaving early and returning late. Sometimes while waiting for her at home, I would remember that it was the same in our past life. She had endless work to do, and the time she spent talking to me was incredibly scarce. At midnight, the butler, 1093, reminded me it was time for bed. I sat cross-legged on the rug, reminding me it was time to sleep. I sat cross-legged on the carpet, surrounded by a pile of newly bought items. I wanted to wait a little longer. Counting it up, it had already been a week since I last saw Shen Boyu face-to-face. Tonight, I suddenly really wanted to wait up for her. I had gone to the mall and bought her a winter outfit. While putting it into the closet, I suddenly heard a phone vibrating inside her coat. Pulling it out to check, it was an email. I snapped a photo and sent her a text, half jokingly and half complainingly. "Eldest Miss Shen, how come you have a phone that I didn't know about?" She had long since grown used to my occasionally eccentric jokes. "That's a work phone, I forgot to bring it. Open it and check it for me." I opened the email while teasing her. "Don't tell me it's a love letter from someone else." The interface switched, revealing a medical report. I narrowed my eyes and zoomed in to look. "Lu Chenghui. Isn't this Lu Zhaoyao's dad? Skull fracture, looks like this person was hit by something. Oh, there's even a death certificate below it. A workplace accident. How pitiful. All right, put the phone back where it was. I'll be home in a bit. Just now you said I could look at whatever I wanted, you cheapskate. There's nothing worth seeing." Thinking about how the kitchen was still warming up food for her, I stuffed the phone back and pulled out wrapping paper, intending to wrap the new clothes into a gift to surprise her. My best friend Yang Jian, after finding out about this, also teased me over the phone. "You're seriously simping so hard." "Simping to death. Fang Shu, don't you dare change your mind. Our Boyu is the absolute best. Blame it on me being blind before. Can't I do that? Sure. When are you planning to open? Studio with me. Do you know your blueprints are currently in extremely high demand? Hearing this, I hesitated slightly. Let's wait a bit longer. I can still draw drafts for you at home. Oh, please. You just stay there and serve your eldest Miss Shen. I admit that I wanted to spend more time by her side. If there's a chance to do it all over again, and yet still nothing can be changed, then truly every extra day lived is one less day left. That night, Shen Boyu came home right at 12 o'clock. I curled up in the corner of the sofa, holding my breath and focusing. Shen Boyu called out softly, but I didn't make a sound. Instead, I sneaked around to her back and pounced forward, tightly hugging her. Realizing it was me, Shen Boyu stood still on the spot, just obediently letting me hold her tight. I completely locked her in my embrace. Why weren't you scared? I saw your shadow. Go to the bedroom, I prepared a gift for you. With a glance, she walked inside with me, only to see a gift box placed in the middle of the bedroom. Before taking a few steps, she turned her head back to look at me. This is a make-up birthday gift for you. This year, even the longevity noodles weren't personally made by me. I'm actually really unhappy about it. This money was all earned from my hard work drawing. Blueprints. Open it up and take a look. Fang Shu. Thank you. Hurry up. Her hand rested on the gift box, hesitating for a very long time. There's something I want to discuss with you. Go ahead. Maybe we need to be apart for a while. Hearing these words, I was dazed for a few seconds, thinking I hadn't fully woken up yet. Do you want to divorce me? Just as Shen Boyu was about to speak, I get it, I'll go pack my things. Fang Shu, patiently listen to me finish, okay? Just say it right here. Actually, even if you don't say it, I know. It's because I hurt you. You made up with me just to get revenge on me. When we first got married, I shouldn't have called you annoying, nor should I have intentionally stood you up, making you wait for 2 hours outside the movie theater. And I shouldn't have known clearly that you love cleanliness yet still purposely stomped mud all over your white dress. It's because I deserved it. Fang Shu, are you being a bit too childish? I desperately struggled putting on an act of playing weak without a care. In the self-help books it said, you must hit the opponent's weak spot. Aren't you a neat freak? I just want to make your bed sheets dirty. Before the divorce, I want to make them dirty one more time. After I yelled, Shen Boyu used both her arms and legs to lock me in a tight embrace, then put on a serious face. All right, I'm talking about something serious. With you. You have to act out a play with me. What play? Lu Chenghui is Lu Chaoyao's dad. The email you saw just now stated that her dad passed away due to a workplace accident on a construction site. The construction project back then, many years ago, was precisely the joint venture project between your second uncle and my dad. Hearing up to this point, I suddenly recalled that day when I went up to the rooftop to look for Lu Chaoyao. She was standing up there, while I stood below holding an ice cream. Lu Chaoyao, what are you doing? She turned her head, her eyes filled with complete despair. My family members are all gone. I don't have any family left. At that moment, I was deeply shaken by her family tragedy. Cautiously edging closer, I also handed her an ice cream. I don't have any family either. What do you think of me? I murmured. My second uncle only knows how to scold me for causing him trouble. I get bullied by my classmates, and he has never once cared about me. Lu Chaoyao looked down at me, and then from the edge of the rooftop she hopped down. What is your second uncle's name? Fang Ming. Hearing that, she slowly raised her eyes. Fang Ming? Is it Fang Ming of the Fang Corporation? After receiving confirmation, she looked at me with unprecedented seriousness. Don't worry. From now on, I will treat you really well. It was only many years later that I understood the meaning in that gaze. Perhaps a second before knowing my second uncle's name, Lu Chaoyao really wanted to consider me as family, but my identity instead opened up a path for her to seek revenge. Therefore, her promise was woven from lies right from the very beginning. Seeing me lost in memories, Shen Boyu. Seeing me completely lost in memories, Shen Boyu grasped my hand. Fang Shu, I can tell that Lu Chaoyao likes you. You told me that in your past life you were set up by someone, and Lu Chaoyao had a hand in it. It's highly likely because you chose to be with me. I don't dare to let you keep being bound together with me to gamble anymore. You don't have much interaction with the Fang family. Lu Chaoyao should be very well aware of that. So as long as you leave me, let me bear all the future dangers by myself. Hearing up to here, I slowly shook my head. No way. Listen to me and leave. Not listening. As I spoke, I stubbornly gripped her hand tightly. I'm not getting a divorce. In our past life, we even had a child together. It's just that we couldn't wait until the baby was born. Just as I finished my sentence, I saw Shen Boyu freeze up. Really? I murmured, who knows, maybe we even have one right now. Shenboyu, I can play along in the act with you, but we are absolutely not getting a divorce. A few weeks later, in the media, news broke famous businesswoman Shenboyu's marriage reportedly cracked, already divorced from her husband. On that exact same day, photos of me packing up my luggage and leaving the villa were leaked online by netizens. Yang Jian watched me carrying big bags and small bags moving into his apartment looking utterly delighted. Oh my God of wealth. You've finally thought it through and are willing to build a career with me. I kept a completely stone-cold face. Love is something that cannot be relied upon. Just a few days ago you were still calling her baby this and baby that. Hurry up and tell me what happened. Meeting his bright gossip-hungry eyes, I crossly replied, I made her bedsheets dirty. Just because of that and you got a divorce over it? So what are your plans for the future? No plans, obviously I'll just live on my own. On the third day I received a call from second uncle. Shoo, come home tomorrow night for a bit. While pressing the phone to my ear, sprayed water on the flowers. Second uncle, why did you suddenly think of me? Haven't you already divorced? The family can't just sit by and watch you suffer out there. Taking advantage of the dinner party tonight, I will help you look for another match. Your info is really sharp. Just give me a straight answer, are you coming or not? Why wouldn't I come? I'll definitely be on time. After hanging up, Yang Jin looked at me worriedly. Didn't you cut ties with your parents long ago? What happens in their family has nothing to do with you. Blood is thicker than water. Even if I don't get close to them, they are still always trying to find ways to ruin me anyway. In the evening, I pushed open the front door of the Fang residence and walked in. Just as I entered the lobby, the eyes of everyone around immediately locked onto me, and some people were even pointing and whispering. I walked straight toward the hallway turn when I suddenly heard Shenboyu's voice. Long time no see. Following the voice to look back, I only saw her holding a wine glass standing in the middle of the crowd, looking exceptionally dazzling. Hearing the news of her divorce, not a few people swarmed over like flies to honey. The scene also had a crowd of people surrounding her 3 layers deep inside and out. After they spotted me, the chatter gradually died down. Some onlookers couldn't hide their sheer amusement. CEO Shen, how about you? Reminisce about the past first. Shenboyu gave me a cold glance and withdrew her eyes. No need, we no longer have any relationship. Next, person. I casually took a glass of champagne from a waiter's tray and walked toward Shenboyu. Seeing this, the people along the way automatically made way for me. Coming to a stop in front of Shenboyu, I waited for her to speak first, but as a result, Shenboyu just kept staring at me without delivering her lines. I couldn't wait any longer, so I directly splashed the champagne straight onto her clothes. Just a little greeting, CEO Shen. You don't mind, right? She took the empty glass, her fingers even brushing past the back of my hand. I don't mind. Feeling her little gesture, I let out a soft huff, threw the glass down, turned around, and walked away. But unexpectedly, the moment I pushed open the rooftop door, I discovered there was already someone on the rooftop early on, and it was someone I knew. Lu Zhaoyao. She was leaning against the railing, her burned face half hidden in the darkness. Shoo. Long time no see. Looking at her, my hand, hidden behind my back, unconsciously clenched into a fist. Long time no see? Why have you become so distant with me? I tried my best to soothe my tense emotions, taking a deep breath. Why would you think that I haven't even asked you yet? Where you've been all this time and you even blocked my number. You're really something now, huh? Just like before, I playfully nudged her. Suddenly, the light outside the door was blocked by someone. Out of the corner of my eye, I glimpsed Shenboyu leaning against the window frame, her gaze directed right this way. Lu Zhaoyao was pushed completely back into the shadows. I went to have surgery. Saying that, she slightly tilted her body forward, fully revealing her face. Look closely. Do I look like I did it before? The skin that was originally severely burned had now mostly recovered. I stared at her in a daze. You do? Then we... Before she could finish her words, I hurriedly took a step back to widen the distance. I'm really happy for you. Right at this moment, second uncle led a group of guests and walked over. Come over here, let me introduce everyone for a bit. This is my nephew, Fang Shu. And right beside him is the newly signed actress of our company, Lu Zhaoyao. For this party tonight, I actually want to take this opportunity to help these 2 kids settle their lifelong matters. The guests all rushed to shower us with congratulations, surrounding me and Lu Zhaoyao tight as a drum. Seeing this, I furrowed my brows. Second uncle, I haven't... But Lu Zhaoyao suddenly wrapped her arm around my shoulder. Second uncle, please rest assured. From now on, I will take care. Fang Shu really well. I panicked a bit, trying desperately to break free, but Lu Zhaoyao didn't care at all and happily greeted the guests at ease. Waiting until she finished greeting a few people, I finally asked with a complicated mood, "When did you link up with my second uncle?" Hearing that, she slowly smoothed out the crease on her sleeve. "Only by getting the recognition of the Fang family can I marry you. Originally, I had other plans, but you getting a divorce saved me a lot of trouble." I looked at her face, only to feel a terrifying sense of unfamiliarity. "What's wrong? Don't recognize me anymore, do you feel? Like I'm not the same as what you've always thought?" Before, I always thought Lu Zhaoyao had a bright and radiant smile, and that she and I belonged to the same world. But looking at it now, it seems I was completely mistaken. Saying that she took step after step forward, forcing me to back up continuously, until my back finally hit the glass door. She stared straight at me, then curled her lips into a smile. "Fang Shu, my true nature was always like this. From the start, I never planned to let you go. But I love you. As long as you come back to my side, we will be exactly like before. Surely you don't want to be like in the past life, dying together with Shen Boyu, right?" My whole body trembled. At that exact moment, I fell into utter terror. She knows everything. Lu Zhaoyao clearly noticed that my breathing was gradually becoming frantic. She leaned over, rapping. I placed my hand on the doorknob behind me, then pressed lightly, and the door opened. Music from the party spilled in. She smiled and mouthed, "To me, go back and enjoy the dinner party. We'll meet again another time." Only when I blended into the crowd did I realize my whole body was drenched in cold sweat. I slowly leaned on the staircase, then headed up to the second floor. Following my memory, at the end of the hallway was the room I used to stay in. I wanted to go in and rest, but almost as soon as I pushed the door open, I was gagged and dragged behind the door. "Where did she touch you?" Immediately after, a kiss fell on my shoulder. Shen Budu didn't say a word, slowly finding my lips. I stood in the darkness, kissing her. A long time later, I asked softly, "Are you jealous? I've got a whole jar of vinegar right here, not allowing others to touch you. No one is allowed." After speaking, she went to bite my shoulder. I hurriedly pushed her away. "I have to go downstairs in a moment. What if there are bite marks on my shoulder? What should I do?" Shen Budu narrowed her eyes. Clearly, she wasn't easily persuaded. I continued to coax her. "They'll say that right after our divorce. You already cheated on me with Liu Zhaojiao. Liu Zhaojiao, do you want to hear such nasty rumors?" "I don't want to." "Then you should restrain yourself a bit." I gently supported her head, letting her lean against my chest. "Liu Zhaojiao has already teamed up with my uncle. She even guessed your current situation. They are prepared to deal with you. Are you confident in winning?" She pondered for a moment before replying, "Fang Yu, if the Fang family suffers heavy losses because of this, what will you do?" "So it was this you were worried about." "My parents are a commercial marriage. They hated each other, tossed me to my uncle. Then each went abroad to settle down and start new families. My uncle treated me like a tool to grab power for the clan. If it weren't for you, I probably would have had to marry a 70-year-old woman." Saying this, I used my pinky finger to hook her finger, looking at the wedding ring raining on her hand, feeling warmth in my heart. "So you don't need to worry about me. If the Fang family truly collapses, it's because my uncle worked without virtue. They sow the wind and reap the whirlwind." The next few months, I returned to the life of a hired worker. Except for being forced to be called back for blind dates with Liu Zhaojiao, life was considered peaceful. Duong Qin was extremely dissatisfied with this. "You cut ties already, so why are you still obediently listening to him?" I didn't explain. At the same time, because Shen Budu frequently appeared on financial channels lately, Duong Qin almost cursed her every time he saw her. "A woman like this, one look and you know she's not the good kind. If you ever ask to get back with her, I'll immediately do a handstand and eat shit." Hearing this, I looked up from the pile of design drafts. "Don't be so sure you'll paint yourself into a corner. You should leave yourself an exit. Fine. I'll drag you down to eat with me." Because of the intense disapproval from Duong Qin, I had to meet Shen Budu in secret. Shen Budu's car was parked downstairs. It was freezing cold, yet she stood outside waiting for me. Seeing me wearing the clothes I bought, wearing the scarf I chose, she smiled. The next second, when I reached her side, she dove into my arms. I hurriedly made a keep gesture, silencing her. "Keep your voice down, let's get into the car." "Why, your friend is treating me like the biggest seductress of the century?" And so like a thief, I dragged her into the car, then reached into my pocket, taking out a pair of wool gloves to give her. Shen Budu smiled cherishly, accepting the gift. "Mr. Fang, I already have plenty. Don't you like them?" As I said that, I prepared to reach out to take them back, but was quickly withdrawn by her. "Thank you, I like them very much." Actually, she and I didn't have many topics in common to discuss, but there was always something to say without end. She leaned on my shoulder. "If you marry a second time and dare to take someone like me, what will he do?" "What will he do?" In short, something terrible will happen. I sighed. I could already imagine him, letting out a torrent of curses at me. Hearing this, Shenbudu burst into laughter. Why don't you change to someone else, Shenbudu? What nonsense are you talking about? I only want to be by your side. Fang Yu, what I mean is if there's one day I suddenly have to leave you. Before she could finish, I hugged her tight, interrupting her. Shenbudu. She leaned into my arms. I was just giving an example. Examples can also scare people I have not received. The love of my parents since I was young. So whoever treats me well, I will like them. Liu Zhaozhao was like that at first, and towards you it was the same. But later it became different. I want to make you happier. Seeing others have something, I want you to have that too. I notice every word I say, just afraid of making you unhappy. All my joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness seem to be tied to you. Therefore, if you say we have to be apart, I will be heartbroken. Hearing this, Shenbudu kissed my chin softly. Fang Yu, this is because you love me, so let's not be apart. Okay, you once said you wouldn't refuse my request, right? Okay, let's not be apart. The next day when I walked out of the bedroom, Duangqin, seeing me, said, last night I saw you get into a luxury car. I was munching on a snack while keeping quiet. Seeing this, he rolled his eyes. All right. Back to your old habits, huh? Don't tell me you were humiliated by your ex-wife. Again, look at your pitiful state. It's not like that. Why would she humiliate me? She's very kind. Enough. Stop feeding me dog food. One more word and I'll throw you out. Fine, I give up. I won't explain anymore. I lifted my cup, taking a sip of soy milk. On the TV, the news was playing. The two of us listened for a moment, then went silent. It's the Fang family. There was trouble. New news broke this morning, relating to a work accident from a very long time ago. Duangqin looked at me with a slightly worried gaze. I shook my head, signaling it was okay. Just didn't expect Shenbudu's actions to be so swift. Recalling the past life, the uncle, as the mastermind behind the scenes, had incited that bastard Wang to do such atrocious things. But this time, everything was pushed forward by 15 years. Shenbudu's business empire is as thriving as the midday sun, while my uncle's foundation hasn't expanded to a terrifying level. Surely an incident like that won't happen again, right? Today is the day of the date to meet Liu Zhaozhao. Might as well give Duangqian a ride. The driver drove very steadily. Halfway there, my eyelids began to droop. I'll sleep for a moment. When we arrive, remember to call me. Before hearing an answer, I had passed out. Not until the friction sound of grating metal woke me up. Fang Yu, wake up right now. I only felt my limbs were weak. Opening my eyes, I only saw steel pipes, concrete, and Duangqian leaning against them. I was confused, dragging myself up from the ground, while Duangqian next to me was kicking his legs in vain. Seeing me awake, he breathed a sigh of relief. Thank heavens you're finally awake. Quick, untie me. Realizing I was in a strange place and tied up, I took a few steps and my whole body went limp. Dragging myself bit by bit to where Duangqian was sitting, squatting down, I immediately saw the thorny rope tied around his hands. Familiar memories hit me. I turned my head, looking all around. Cold sweat instantly broke out. Isn't this the abandoned factory where Shenbudu and I were in my past life? The rope was knotted. I couldn't untie it, could only grind it off. Daring to tie up this guy, you're truly tired of living. I see they don't want to live anymore. The rope was ground for half a day until it was covered in blood. He tiredly leaned against a stone slab. All right, stop struggling. They tied me but didn't tie you, proving the target is my family. While there's no one around, you slip away and call for people to come rescue. Hearing this, I laughed bitterly. I am sorry. This time I implicated you. What do you mean? Before I could finish, Liu Zhaozhao's voice suddenly rang out from behind. Your friend is too noisy. Duangqin craned his neck to peek. I hurriedly pressed his head down. He doesn't know anything. Let him go. Don't drag others into our business. Liu Zhaozhao didn't say anything. Duangqin could no longer hold back. Listen up. I'm telling you clearly, my last name is Duong. You dare to pull my hair. If my dad finds out, he'll make you pay, just you wait. You heard him right, our business doesn't need to involve the entire Duong family. Duangqin's background shaped his personality from a young age. He fears neither heaven nor earth. If something truly happened to him, surely no one would be left in peace. Liu Zhaozhao's face was dark and gloomy. She stared at us for a moment before throwing an object at us. Duangqian, untie the knot yourself, but don't you dare mess around, or none of you will ever walk out of here alive. Duangqin hurriedly picked up the toy knife, but after untying himself, he didn't forget to talk tough. Once I'm out of here, I'll bring people over immediately. That's fine, but I had a feeling those scumbags, they no longer feared anything. Recalling my past life, I gathered all my courage to push him once. Save whoever you can. Okay, Fuang-hu, you must wait for me. I will find people to save you. With that, he bolted without looking back. Just like that, only Luke Chiu-jiao and I remained at the scene. I was just about to stand up, but she grabbed me forcefully, then dragged me to the window. Let me see who came here. I followed her gaze downward, only to see Tambat-du standing downstairs, facing my second uncle. Seeing that I struggled violently, Luke Chiu-jiao watched for a moment, then chuckled softly. In a moment, you'll get to witness Tambat-du's corpse. Oh, right, and your second uncle, too. He won't escape either. My heart beat faster and faster. My cold fingertips, and even my body began to tremble. But at this moment, showing concern for Tambat-du would only make things more dangerous. Thinking that I decisively closed my eyes, I'm divorced from her. Whatever happens to her has nothing to do with me. Luke Chiu-jiao looked down coldly. Is that so, second? Uncle, go break one of her legs. The next second, I only heard a thud. Tambat-du collapsed instantly. She looked up toward me, her face pale. Luke Chiu-jiao, I'm here. Spare him. The one you hate is me. Fuang-hu grew up with you. He never did you any wrong. Spare him. Luke Chiu-jiao completely ignored her, turning back to me instead. Fuang-hu, are you happy? I felt my whole body shudder, unable to utter a single word. Second uncle break. The other leg. Before she could finish, I immediately grabbed her hand. Don't do that. Spare her, okay? Do whatever you want with me. Hearing this, Luke Chiu-jiao's smile suddenly vanished. Her gaze stared fixedly at me without blinking. Even her fingers, because they were clenched so tight, had white, bloodless knuckles. Over there, Tambat-du knelt downstairs, her expression extremely anxious. The pain in her leg was excruciating. Her forehead was soaked in sweat. Luke Chiu-jiao, let Fuang-hu go. I'll trade my life for his. I'm worth much more. Let him go and do whatever you want to me. Luke Chiu-jiao's expression was terrifyingly cold. The next second, she reached up to lift my chin and kissed me. In the moment our lips touched, I instinctively struggled violently, feeling my movements. Luke Chiu-jiao threatened, do you want her to die or not? And so I immediately froze, daring not to move. She pressed her lips against mine, rubbing them for a few seconds. I truly felt sick to my stomach, pushing her away hard, then falling to the ground, retching uncontrollably. Seeing this, Luke Chiu-jiao coldly ordered downstairs. Do it! I immediately heard footsteps downstairs. My mind went blank. I crawled toward the window to see Tambat-du, but the scene I imagined, her collapsing, didn't happen. Instead, the person collapsed on the ground was my second uncle. Tambat-du's hands were still trembling. Not far away, rescue teams flooded in, quickly cordoning off the area. Seeing the situation, Luke Chiu-jiao's face changed color. Suddenly, she lunged forward, grabbing the collar of my shirt, and backed into the shadows behind a pillar on the second floor. Outside the window came the sound of them using a loudspeaker, calling out to Luke Chiu-jiao. Luke Chiu-jiao, hiding in the corner, gripped my neck. Tell Tambat-du to come up here and see me? Otherwise, I'll drag him down to hell with me. My strength hadn't yet recovered. Choked by her, I could only gasp for air. Luke Chiu-jiao calmed down a little. I am very calm. In the past life, you died together with Tambat-du, right? In this life. If it's me instead that's not allowed, I desperately struck at her hand. Let go of me. You have to live properly. No, it can't be saved anymore. Stop. It's still not too late to stop now. Luke Chiu-jiao didn't seem to hear anything. She only knew to speak according to her own mind. I could have salvaged everything. But why did she have to be reborn? Along with you, give the Fuang-hu of the past back to me. I helplessly reached my hand out, feeling the light before my eyes gradually fading. A familiar voice rang out a few steps away. Luke Chiu-jiao, I'm here, let him go. The moment she finished, the pressure on my neck instantly vanished. It was Tambat-du alone, her hands wrapped in bandages. She looked even more wretched than in the past life. Luke Chiu-jiao pulled me back a few steps, taking an object from her person and pressing it against my neck. Tambat-du, this time let's play a different game. A little bit. She pointed at the heavy jacket. Not far away. Put that jacket on. It was so familiar. In the past life, it was because of this that we died, and so I struggled violently. No, don't put it on, absolutely not. There's a bomb inside. Luke Chiu-jiao laughed manically. Fuang-hu, in the past life, Tambat-du dared to hug you to death. But what about you? How much do you love her? No, don't listen to her, Tambat-du. She choked me, laughing coldly and incessantly. You think she can defeat me no matter how well she protects you? It's useless. Even if you don't go outside, I have ways to break. Straight into your house and take you away. I've waited for this day for a long time. Today only one of you or her gets to live. Tambat-du didn't hear our whispers. As she spoke, she nimbly put on the jacket. Keep that thing in your hand away from his neck. A little bit. I'm wearing it now. Tambat-du, leave, I beg you. The next second, a ticking countdown beep rang out. I hopelessly closed my eyes. Right at this moment, Luke Qiujiao suddenly pushed me forward hard. Fuang Hu, make a choice. I stood between the two of them. Every time I took a step toward Tambat Du, she would take a whole step back. Tambat Du solemnly warned me, Fuang Hu, don't come over here, be careful of what I'm wearing. Looking at her face full of concern, I froze. I didn't dare to take another step. It wasn't because I feared losing my life, but at this very moment, choosing Tambat Du in front of Luke, Qiujiao was no different from provoking her. It might even cause her to detonate the bomb. Earlier, seeing this, Luke Qiujiao gave a faint, cold laugh, throwing a biting remark aside. Fuang Hu, admit it, you only love yourself. You are just as selfish, cold-blooded, and heartless as your second uncle. Tambat Du had now backed up against the window. She glanced at me. Luke Qiujiao, I feel sorry about your father. You have no right to mention my father. Luke Qiujiao, who had originally been waiting to watch the show, was suddenly provoked into taking half a step forward. Young master, young lady, spoon-fed with gold, from the cradle like you people. Do you have half a point of sincerity? But that year your father did indeed operate against regulations, not wearing a protective helmet. We also paid appropriate compensation. Shut up. Tambat Du didn't shut up. On the contrary, her lips curled into a cold smile. You are nothing but a useless, incompetent person. They traded barbs while I screamed from the bottom of my heart. This world is truly mad. Every word of Tambat Du's stuck right in the heart of Luke Qiujiao. Doesn't she want to live anymore? Just as she finished, Luke Qiujiao pulled a lighter from out of nowhere. The moment it hit the floor, the fire seemed to flare up violently in an instant. It turned out the floor had been soaked beforehand. Liu Qiujiao walked toward me with bloodshot eyes. From this angle, I could only see the half of her face that hadn't yet been healed. You were the ones who ruined my life, Fang Yu. Why didn't you choose me? If only you had said sooner that you didn't like a scarred face, then I wouldn't have been so cruel. To myself in the beginning, I felt like a bucket of cold water had been dumped on me. You're crazy. That's right, if I didn't do that, how could I exploit your guilt to dig for information on Shen Budu? Liu Qiujiao finally dropped her gentle mask, laughing in a grating way. Fang Yu, if you had chosen me, this ending wouldn't have happened. Reaching this point, you only have yourself to blame. Follow me and go to hell, together. As soon as she finished, she pulled out a remote control. Seeing this, I didn't think twice, instead, lunging toward Shen Budu, then desperately hugged her tight. I only heard Shen Budu let out a shocked scream. The next second I blacked out. I couldn't hear a thing. What appeared before my eyes was the pale face of Shen Budu. Her mouth was moving, as if she were saying something to me, but in a blink, a report stated the device was intact, confirming the hostages were safe. No suspicious items were discovered at the scene. The fierce flames were extinguished. Relevant personnel quickly evacuated the hostages. Rescue forces arrived. Shen Budu and I were helped away. When I turned back, I saw Liu Qiujiao lying on the ground, facing away from me, completely motionless. On the other side, Duong Qian was waiting by the car. Seeing me come out, he ran over, cursing aggressively. It's the 21st century now. This is a civilized society. The state has strictly controlled this how many times already? Yet you still play these tricks. What a bunch of lawless criminals. Catch them all and throw them in jail for life. Don't even think about letting them go. I'm counting on you all to catch all of them. Don't let a single shadow escape. As for Shen Budu, after the devices were removed from her, she didn't say two words, dragging me while I was busy talking to Duong Qian straight toward the car. Only when she shoved me into the back seat did she climb in. Shen Budu's expression was extremely serious. I suddenly felt a bit guilty, shrinking back. Don't be like that. I'm scared. After a brief silence, she directly poured out a round of scolding. You know you're scared, yet you still dared to lunge. Do you think this is a game, throwing yourself to the ground? The bomb was on me. What if Liu Qiujiao aimed for the controller and pressed it? What then? Seeing she still intended to continue scolding, I hurriedly shut my eyes tight, intentionally falling toward her. Oh no, I'm so scared I fainted. Shen Budu was stalled for a moment by my action, took a deep breath and hugged me tight. Only then did I feel that her hands, they were actually trembling. She gently rubbed my hair, trying to calm herself down. I'm sorry, just now it was me. My tone wasn't good. I actually intended to jump out the window. That way, even if the rescue team wasn't successful, the bomb exploding wouldn't have harmed you. But why did you rush over to hug me for? I didn't think that much. Back then, watching TV, if there was a bomb, you'd lie flat. I couldn't just hug Liu Qiujiao, right? Hearing this, Shen Budu was momentarily speechless, not knowing what to say. Luckily, we were still alive. Have your wounds been bandaged? Let me see. Shen Budu laughed and cried at the same time. Fang Yu, it's near my thigh. I ignored her, not caring in the least, rushing to take off her pants. We're old married folks now. What are you still shy for? Duongqin's voice drifted in through the car window. That's right, I'm suspecting my friend has been beaten by his wife. That's right, I watched. With my own eyes as his wife. Grabbed him by the collar and dragged him away. Officer friends, you deal with these things, right? While speaking, he pulled the car door open only to see me kneeling between Shen Budu's thighs, my hands placed on her hips. Our eyes went wide as we looked at each other. Duongqian was holding his phone, staring expressionlessly for 3 seconds, then slammed the door shut. Never mind, forget it. Too lazy to intervene in other people's domestic affairs. But what about your abuse of me? Are you going to deal with that? I can't find my lover anymore. Don't need to look, call the Animal Protection Society. The day Shen Budu and I held our delayed wedding, Duongqian was seated at the head table. He seemed unable to eat many bites. When we came over to offer a toast, Shen Budu smiled very gently. In the past, I often heard Fang Yu mention you. He even said if he married a second time, it would still be me. Something terrible would happen. Being stared at by her piercing gaze, Duongqin recalled his boastful declaration from before. If I get back with her, I'll immediately do a handstand and eat shit. For a fleeting moment, they looked at each other, neither uttering a word. Duongqin laughed awkwardly, raising his wineglass. That's all in the past now. I'll toast the two of you. Wishing you both 100 years of happiness. After clinking glasses, I clung to Shen Budu, pleading softly. That's all in the past, why bring it up? I'm just curious. Very curious. I hesitated for a long time, then suddenly grinned. Lean your ear here, I'll tell you secretly. Tell me if he actually did it. And dragged you to eat with him, then what, CEO Shen? Has your dignity been thrown to the dogs? I arrived wearing a set of loose clothes, holding Shen Budu's hand as we strolled on the beach. Before, you always said you wanted to bring me to the beach, but we never got to go. Before refers to what time, the 38-year-old me. 38, it felt a bit old. Remembering Shen Budu in my past life, I felt a hint of nostalgia and sighed, not at all. You at 38 were still incredibly beautiful, just a bit quieter and less talkative than now, and couldn't stand being teased. I didn't notice that Shen Budu was listening with a thoughtful expression. Not until evening. I had just stepped into the bedroom when I was hugged by the waist and pulled back. Then a click. I was locked in. Shen Budu slowly leaned against my back. Old lady, does she understand you as well as I do? Hearing this, I was stunned. Immediately after, I suddenly realized the reason she was unusual all day today was she jealous. Thinking of this, I burst out laughing. It's not like that. Not to that extent. Shen Budu reached out to lift my chin, looking into the mirror and smiling slightly. Can't stand being teased, that's because she's inferior. Don't say that. I'm defending her. No, in 15 years, if you recall this sentence. Wouldn't you want to prove that you are the capable one? Hearing me say that, she paused. In principle, that's not wrong. So the two of you are competing against each other? The one suffering is me. Shen Budu glanced at me, then expressionless, looked straight into the mirror. I really want to show that woman. All right. Don't say any more. A few seconds later, Shen Budu looked up, latching onto my never-ending whispers. Fang Yu, you are mine. Tonight was perhaps when my E was at its highest. Had to admit, the current her was even more seductive than the 38-year-old version, while still being forced by her to constantly affirm that the 38-year-old version was still very enchanting. After Shen Budu was finally coaxed to sleep by me, I gently stroked her face, feeling so warm in my heart, even though I had held Shen Budu's hand countless times at age 38 and sighed. If only we had been together sooner, how good it would have been. For 15 long years, we lived like two miserable strangers. I think surely I must have felt moved when she gently tucked me in. There were moments I wanted to hug her and say, let's make up. But Liu Chaojiao's accident had long become a thorn in my heart. The stirrings that even I didn't want to admit. Every time they flared up, they stabbed deeper into my heart. It reminded me that Shen Budu had once harmed my family. Perhaps because it was repressed for too long. When the misunderstanding was cleared, we had a brief but romantic period of love. Thinking of this, I hugged her face closer, planting a very light kiss on her lips. I love you. Shen Budu seemed to have been awakened by me. Shen Boyu seemed to be awakened by me. In the silence, I could hear her heart starting to race again. This woman really can't handle being teased. However, in the next second, she turned the tables. I love you too. Her sudden passion caught me completely off guard. Wait a minute, what's wrong with you? Just now I had a dream. I dreamed about our past life. I practically held my breath. Really. Fang Shou, I'm so glad we have a chance to do it over again. Me too. Fortunately, there's still time for everything. Wait, I still have one question. When did you start liking me? This question made Shen Boyu silent for a second. She leaned her head on my shoulder, her voice very soft. I've liked you for a very, very long time. So long that even my memories have begun to fade, Shen Boyu's POV. Actually, in our past life on this exact same birthday, just as night fell, my secretary said goodbye to me. Before leaving, she poked her head through the door. CEO Shen, happy birthday. Only then did I look up from the pile of documents. I had already heard these words a lot today, from the moment I stepped into the company this morning until now. Yet glancing at my silent phone, a wave of bitterness welled up in my heart. I still hadn't received a message from the person I anticipated the most. Looking at the cold lunchbox on the desk, I lost my appetite. So I picked up my phone and called home. Even though just a few hours ago, I had told the staff I wouldn't be returning, the butler's voice came from the other end. Miss Shen, are you coming home for dinner? Where is Fang Shu? He went out. Okay, I see. After hanging up, I sat quietly on the spot, looking around the empty office, feeling a bit dazed. I picked up my phone and opened WeChat. As expected, Lu Jiaoyao's provocation was never absent. As if intentionally torturing myself, I scrolled through the photos one by one, Fang Shu's hand holding a candle, his smile as he held the cake telling her to make a wish, and even the gift, a bouquet of Dutch roses meticulously prepared. Looking at these things, I remembered that I used to have this too. After all, if I counted up, I've known Fang Shu even longer than Lu Jiaoyao did. The first time we met, he was still a little boy, squatting in the bushes and sobbing. That afternoon, I had just been beaten black and blue by my stepfather. My arm was a sheet of bright red, still aching, painfully. Fang Shu crawled out from the bushes. Big sister, did you hear me crying just now? I looked at his tear-stained face and pulled out a tissue. Why are you crying? He sniffled. They called me a bastard child. At that moment, I thought, I guess I count as one too, so I stayed silent. For a moment, then fished a piece of candy from my pocket and handed it to him. It's okay, I won't laugh at you. He took the candy and quickly stopped crying. Ever since he knew I had candy every time he suffered an injustice, he would crawl through the small gap in the bushes to find me. Later on, his pockets started holding random things, burn ointment, Yunnan Baiyao, and Band-Aids. He even claimed this was my payment. There was one time he sat down next to me, looked at the fresh wounds on my body and asked, Big sister, why do they keep bullying you all the time? Probably because they hate me. After my dad passed away and my mom remarried, from then on I never had even a single day of peace. Before I would always grit my teeth and endure it. Back then I often thought, maybe one day I'd be beaten to death, and ending it like that to start the next life would be fine too. At least I wouldn't have to wake up again. Looking at my dazed face, he seemed to understand something. So he reached out, hugged my leg, and patted it, gently. I think you're really good. I really like you. That force was very light, so light it carried almost no weight. But looking into his serious eyes, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. Then it started racing, uncontrollably, and a thought flashed through my mind. If I really disappeared, maybe he would be very sad. From then on, I began to fight back, and that place became a secret base for him and me. Later, he celebrated my birthday once, with a small squished cake. A candle snapped in two and a matchbox soaked in water. No matter how he struck them, they wouldn't light. At that time, he looked at me feeling extremely aggrieved. Second uncle clearly told me he would help me keep it safe. He already gave it to me, though. But holding that cake in my hands, I felt as if I were holding a priceless treasure. Thank you, don't be sad. I really like it. I feel like there will never be a birthday gift more wonderful than this one. He hugged me. Happy birthday. You must always be happy. When I grow up later, I'll buy a really big cake for you. I remembered that sentence for many years, and even fantasized about that scene in my head multiple times. After all, to me back then, that was almost a far-fetched dream. At that time, Fang Shu also said he would give me a big surprise tomorrow, telling me that I absolutely must wait for him. But that night, I was beaten within an inch of my life. My heart also gradually grew cold, along with it. Ever since my dad passed away, no one in this house cared about me anymore. That night, they had someone send me straight to a hospital abroad. At that moment, I tightly grabbed the cuff of my mom's pants. Someone made a date to give me a surprise. It's just a pity that promise ultimately couldn't be fulfilled. Then again, my pleas had never once been given a second thought by anyone. And I didn't know how Fang Shu, without me around, would pass his days. So I strived to rise up. I fought desperately to stay alive, fought desperately to climb to the top. After years of scheming, I finally returned from abroad to take over the company and used every means possible to marry him. But on the wedding day, the look in his eyes when he looked at me was freezing cold. Everything is my fault. Last time I ordered someone to pick up an artist, and an accident happened on the way. That person happened to be Fang Shu's ex-girlfriend. I didn't expect him to care about that matter so much, nor had anyone ever told me. I had always thought that marrying Fang Shu meant I was saving him. But in Fang Shu's eyes, I was instead a tyrant who used power to oppress others, forcing him through his second uncle to marry a villain. Wrong, completely wrong. Fang Shu already had someone he liked, and her name was Lu Jiaoyao. But on that birthday, I still went to the hospital. Today is my birthday, too. Thinking of the big cake and the gift he had promised years ago, I still wanted to try one more time. And as expected, Fang Shu avoided me like the plague. When speaking, he wouldn't even spare me a single glance. Therefore, the words, "let's get a divorce," just got stuck in my throat and couldn't be uttered at all. I found a lot of excuses for myself. The big cake he talked about in the past, he still hasn't bought it for me yet. I'll just wait for him to remember and fulfill his promise. Then it won't be too late to let go. But I waited and waited, yet I still couldn't wait it out. Although Fang Shu and I lived together, we were like two strangers. Knowing that he hated me, I very rarely came home. One day it was pouring rain outside. Seeing the two words Fang Shu suddenly pop up on my phone screen, I couldn't quite believe it and hurriedly opened it. It's raining. Just in this single instant, my heart, which had been as still as dead water, suddenly came back to life. I hesitated for a moment, typed the word okay, then deleted it, replacing it with got it. After that, there was no further reply. So I started to regret it. Did I reply too slowly? Or was the reply not clear enough? To the point that during meetings I was a bit distracted. After finishing work and returning home, even though the car had already parked, downstairs for a long time I hesitated again. Let's wait a little longer. Wait for Fang Shu to fall asleep so we can avoid an argument. I slumped over the steering wheel, the wedding ring on my ring finger gleaming in the dark night, while I only felt a bitter choking sensation in my chest. Only a long time later did I push open the door and step into the house. Hearing the noise, the butler walked out. "Where is Fang Shu?" The young master fell asleep on the sofa. I furrowed my brows and looked toward the sofa. He waited for you on the sofa until just now. Why, I heard. He seemingly wanted to celebrate your birthday late. He just mentioned it casually and changed his mind later, but I hid it away. A portion for you, the owner made it personally. He intended to bring it to your company tomorrow morning. I looked at the cake with a small piece missing, feeling my long, cooled heart warm up again. I knew the divorce topic would never be mentioned again. Fang Yu just giving me a little kindness was enough to collapse all my defenses. Right then from the sofa, a sound came. My whole body stiffened. While Fang Yu's gaze, the very next second, had already fixed upon me. The moment he saw me, he froze. "Shen, you're back. I assume you haven't eaten." I saw there was cake on the table. It happened that I made too much and couldn't finish it. "It's too sweet, I don't like it." "Whatever you say." He said that and then stepped into the bedroom, slamming the door shut and locking it from the inside. "Shen, look at me." I silently sighed. "Just cut a piece. I'll leave as soon as I finish eating." Actually, I didn't like the fruit on top of the cake, but thinking that this was something Fang Yu made himself, I still tried to just swallow it down. After finishing 2 slices, I reluctantly stood up. The butler quickly took out a packaging box, wrapped up the rest, and shoved it into my hands. I wanted to refuse. "Take it, Shen. This is your home. All these are things you like. The owner will be very happy." I felt that living like this was also very good. After all, no matter what, at least I still had a home. Although there were quite a few acquaintances who advised me, saying life shouldn't be forced, advising me to divorce and find someone who knows how to love and care for me. Fang Yu still always wore our wedding ring and never spent the night away from home. He just couldn't be intimate with me anymore. After all, I was the one who harmed his ex-girlfriend. It wouldn't be convenient for him to carry the divorced label. And so I found joy in sorrow like that, maintaining our marriage for many years. By the 7th year, work ran into trouble. The company fell into a crisis. Originally, I still had the surplus energy to look after Fang Yu, but lately I always felt stretched too thin. That day after the meeting ended, I picked up my phone and saw I'd missed a call from Fang Yu. I called back. Fang Yu said it was nothing, telling me to just be busy. Because I was uneasy, I called the butler instead. The owner was just having stomach pain, but a doctor was called to examine him. He's much better now. Afterward, I heard the butler mutter, "Mr. Fang has been busy lately opening a studio with friends, under great pressure, and his mood isn't good. The doctor said it's a stomach ulcer caused by stress. He needs to adjust his emotions." I thought a lot. I could be absolutely obedient to him. Whatever he wanted, I could buy it. But the only thing emotional value was something I couldn't provide. I begged many people for help. And finally, my secretary suggested, "Why don't you try gifting a puppy?" And so just like that, I chose carefully until I found a white puppy. I thought it looked just like Fang Yu when he was small, obedient, clingy nature, and it liked to lie in people's laps, sticking out its tongue to act spoiled. I had an intuition that Fang Yu would definitely like it. Sure enough, that day the butler reported back, the owner played with it all afternoon, bought lots of food and toys, and even learned to knit a scarf for it. He seems to really like and care about it. Sure enough, you're still the one who understands him. Meanwhile, in the forum, Liu Chao Jiao's profile hadn't been updated for days. I thought maybe the puppy had captured all of Fang Yu's attention. Truly a good puppy. One late night after a banquet, I was possessed by some demon and went home, because the people at the dinner table tonight were all people who had families. Throughout the banquet, phones of the wives rang endlessly. Though they complained, they couldn't hide their show-off look. Watching them, I thought I have a husband too. On what grounds can I not go home? So I staggered, pushed the door open, just like that, fumbling, in the dark, moving forward. Previously, when I occasionally stayed overnight at home, fearing I'd wake Fang Yu, I would sleep on the sofa. But this time I followed the familiar path, and accidentally kicked something over. Immediately after, there was a chorus of barking, incessantly. The lights were quickly turned on. Fang Yu, with a drowsy, bewildered look, stood in his pajamas at the bedroom door, while the little dog, as if snitching, barked, "Woof, woof," running over there. Only I was left standing frozen on the spot. My shoes stepped on the fur rug. Around my ankle was still a mess of tangled yarn, clearly Fang Yu's masterpiece, which I had accidentally kicked over. Knowing I had done wrong, I hung my head, saying nothing. It was Fang Yu who reacted first, frowning and pushing the little dog away, then walking's over. "Why did you come home without saying a word?" I immediately backed away. "Don't come over here. I haven't showered, I smell like alcohol." Fang Yu ignored it, persistently lifting his leg. "Go sit on the sofa." I let him be absorbed in his task, while Fang Yu knelt on the rug, slowly untangling the yarn threads on my feet. After he finished tidying up, he returned to the living room, bringing a glass of hot water and hangover medicine. "Are you still feeling uncomfortable?" "Thanks, I'll go in a bit." "No need, I'll get a blanket for you. Just sleep here. When you go to the bathroom later, be careful. Don't kick it over again." As soon as he finished, the little dog barked twice in agreement. Fang Yu pulled the dog over, stroking its head with dissatisfaction. "Don't bark anymore. Mom needs to go to sleep." Hearing this, my heart suddenly skipped a beat. His mother. But a few days ago I had heard Fang Yu call himself its father. So at midnight I sat cross-legged on the rug, preparing to knit a scarf for it. The dog at first wasn't very willing. Then after being toyed with until sleepy, it finally agreed to lie beside me. I watched a tutorial video on the computer, clumsily practicing knitting while stroking the dog, muttering to myself, "Mom is knitting a scarf for you. That way you won't be cold anymore." Fang Yu heard the noise and came out again, seeing the scene before him, and found it funny. After that, what happened I don't remember, because for this blunder, I hadn't even returned home for days. Fang Yu and I tacitly understood each other. No one mentioned that night again. It's just that I could feel Fang Yu seemed to have a slight difference toward me. Now every week he would call me once, for example, reminding me to take the dog for a walk, or to go play with the dog. I was very satisfied, feeling that this was already very good. But later life showed me that actually it could be much better than that. Fang's uncle, during a drunken stupor, revealed the truth. Fang Yu was also present there. The accident that everyone thought was a risk was actually orchestrated and plotted by Fang's uncle. That was in the 9th year after we were married, when this happened. That night, leaving the Fang house, Fang Yu collapsed by the roadside crying. He cried while apologizing to me profusely, and even said he wanted a divorce. We cried until we were exhausted before returning home together. In the car, Fang Yu looked out the window, while I looked at his face, feeling hollow and numb. Fang Yu, he knew everything. So would he change his mind, or would he still insist on a divorce? That's fine. If a divorce is truly necessary, then fine. After all, I've been by his side for 15 years, I am satisfied. If he insists on breaking up, I think it's time to let go. Arriving home, waiting until Fang Yu in the bedroom was sound asleep. I lay down on the sofa, then closed my eyes, waiting for dawn. It's just that at midnight I received a gentle kiss. My eyelids were too sensitive. I suddenly opened my eyes, meeting Fang Yu's panicked look from being caught in the act. Seeing he was about to run, I grabbed his hand tightly. "Speak clearly, don't leave like that." "It's not clear." He struggled for a while, unable to escape, before feebly saying, "If I say I like you, would you think I'm lying? Would you think I'm disgusting?" Hearing this, my mind went numb. I thought I was dreaming. No, absolutely not. If you like me, I would be crazy with joy. It's just that later I didn't dare say it out loud. Neither he nor I moved, staring at each other for over 10 seconds. And what happened next went completely out of control. Fang Yu pinned me down on the sofa, then tightly hugged me, planting kisses on my forehead, my cheeks, and even my lips. I also blurted out the words I had hidden deep down in my heart for the last 15 years. "Fang Yu, do you love me? You love me, right? Please love me. Just like right now. Always love me like this, okay?" The moment I woke up in the room the next morning, I thought I had just had a beautiful dream. until a familiar sound echoed by my ear, and turning my head I realized it wasn't a dream. Fang Shou's arm was gently supporting my head. Listening to his breathing right next to me, I blinked in disbelief, just staring at him for a long time. Only then did I reach out my hand carefully to brush away the strands of hair trapped under his weight, except it still woke him up. The moment our eyes met, for some reason, flashes of last night suddenly shot through my head. So my brain short-circuited again, and in a panic, I dove straight back under the blanket. After all, for a moment I didn't dare face Fang Shou's gaze. Then I secretly poked my pinky finger out from under the blanket. Later, do you want to have breakfast together? That year I was 38. From my childhood all the way to middle age, I had gone through long, endless years of lonely waiting for Fang Shou. That's why in the raging fire later on, I refused to take a step back, resolutely staying by his side. Because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life without Fang Shou. Continuing to wait in vain like that, it was too bitter. At the final moment, I tightly hugged Fang Shou with only one single thought in my heart. I hope in the next life we can be together sooner. Fang Shou's POV. The past life really had too many regrets. Fortunately, in this life I didn't fail the words I once said to Shen Boyu. The happy story of me and Shen Boyu came 15 years earlier, a day after getting married, on the golden sandy beach. I was wearing sunglasses, holding a coconut, lying motionless on a lounger. During the half hour I lay there, the topic of conversation of the college guys at the next table always revolved around the woman digging for seashells by the shore. Hey, see the watch on her hand? It's super expensive. Interested? What kind of guy do you think she likes? Listening to them, I unconsciously interjected into their conversation. She likes handsome guys. The whole group startled, staring at me in absolute shock at this sudden appearance. What kind of handsome guy? The kind with a great body, smooth talking, and knows how to pamper. The young guys looked at each other, then simultaneously looked at one guy. All right, go over and ask her. Hearing that, I took a sip of coconut water and set it down. That works too, but if she's hooked, she belongs to me, okay? Of course. Go get him, brother. So with my messy hair, I stepped up in front of Shen Boyu. Hey there, beautiful. Under the sunset. Shen Boyu's eyes, which were searching for seashells, immediately shifted toward me the moment she saw me. I looked at her for a few seconds, then pointed at the group of guys not far away. They asked me to come over and see what kind of guy you like. I like guys like you, like me. That's straightforward, huh? Well, that's perfect. May I ask this beautiful lady, can I have dinner with you tonight? Shen Boyu, still holding a seashell in her hand, locked eyes with me and smiled. Of course you can. That easy, they only said a few words to each other. I get it, she likes the fast-paced, quick victory type. After I pulled Shen Boyu a good distance away, I poked my head over to look inside the bucket. Are there any red seashells? No, there are so many. I lowered my head to look. Whoa, a whole bucket. I didn't expect that. I only casually mentioned it this morning, yet Shen Boyu had already picked this many. I lifted both of her hands, carefully dusting off the sand and gently blowing on them. Don't pick them next time. If you keep this up, I'll really think you love picking up seashells. Really, it's fine, I like it. Shen Boyu. What did I tell you? Because she was too soft-hearted, I had set a rule for her. If you don't like it, you have to say you don't like it. Even if I like it, you still have to know how to refuse. Hearing this, Shen Boyu paused for a moment. Okay, won't pick them next time. At this point, my anger completely vanished. Because of the age gap, Shen Boyu always tolerated and yielded to me a lot. But I also wanted to do some things that she liked. However, after secretly observing her for a long time, I discovered that she seemingly only liked me. Therefore, I came up with a very sly move, preparing to test it out tonight. The dinner spot I chose was on a private rooftop. After serving the dishes, the waiters withdrew one by one. Only the two of us were left on the rooftop. At first, I sat opposite Shen Boyu, but after getting enough of her front view, I felt it wasn't enough, so I moved to sit right next to her, intently staring at her profile. Are you hot? Of course I'm not hot. I'm just afraid if I stick too close to you, you'll feel hot. Sister, my face seems to be turning red. Do you really feel a bit hot? Then I naturally picked up the fan, fanning it toward her. Living together all this time, Shen Boyu seemed to have built up some immunity to my impulsiveness. She glanced at me, then picked up her knife and fork, looking straight ahead. Fang Shou, if you don't eat the food, will get completely cold. Hey, you're telling me to eat? Okay, I'm hungry too. Saying that, I purposely took the glass of lemonade that Shen Boyu had just drunk from and took a sip, then reached out to snatch the knife and fork from her hands, helping her cut the steak. Let me cut it for you. Seeing that she still didn't budge at all, I secretly gritted my teeth while cutting. Good at enduring, huh? Placing the plate of steak I had finished cutting in front of her, I just stared at her intently. Seeing this, Shen Boyu stopped her hand movements. In the next second, she planted a kiss on my cheek. All right, can we eat now? I nodded, looking a bit smug and satisfied. But that still wasn't enough of a tease. How could I just hurry up and surrender here? So I furrowed my brows. My face feels a bit uncomfortable. Shinboyu's attention was immediately caught. She leaned in close, meticulously checking my face all over. Where does it hurt? How is it uncomfortable? Seeing this, I took the opportunity to pull my chair in a bit, sticking right next to her, against her body, and then started going on another rant. Wait a bit, check it for me. I can't see it myself. You have to tell me so I can know. I only trust you. Plus, I want you to blow on it for me. I promise that as long as you blow on it once, I will definitely feel a lot better. It will absolutely stop hurting immediately. Shinboyu, just let me go on and on with my long rant, and then she fell dead silent. After all, for this entire day, I had pretty much just hidden under the sun umbrella. But I kept clinging to her without letting go, so Shinboyu could only helplessly lift my face, which was buried in her neck, holding it with both hands to observe carefully. One of her hands supported my head while the other reached into her pocket. Right after that, I saw her pull out a tube of cream. I happened to bring a recovery cream in my pocket. Don't move, let me apply some for you. Saying that, she squeezed a bit of cream onto her palm, waiting for the cream to warm up before gently applying it to my face. Whether it was because the ointment increased friction or because of the sudden change in posture, Shinboyu's coat just dropped straight to the ground. Falling along with it was our sanity. Everything progressed far too smoothly. I tried to suppress a smile. We haven't even eaten yet. Why are you in such a rush? You won't even eat your food. It's you who didn't want to eat. Clearly you were seducing me first. I scooped Shinboyu up. No, I wasn't. It's... Your mind, that's dirty. Don't go pinning that crime on my head. Until we got into the room, I kept teasing Shinboyu. If you don't have anything to do, then I'm going to go eat. After dinner, I also promised someone I'd play mahjong. I probably won't come back tonight. Before I could even finish my sentence, I was already pinned down on the bed by her. I only saw Shinboyu's eyes turning slightly red as she leaned down over my body. Tonight, you are not allowed to go anywhere. I already promised them. On what grounds are you not letting me go out? I don't care. I don't want you staying in the house forever. I want you. Only at this moment did I burst out laughing. Fine, after all, I'm your gift. Unwrap me however you want. Fang Shu, you're playing foul. You don't like it. I like it. I really like it. I love it so much. I kissed her lips, then gently spoke the words buried in the depths of my heart. I care about you. So you must learn to express yourself, because who knows, maybe the things you ask for, I might be able to do too. In this very moment, Shinbudu's eyes welled up with tears. She pressed her body against mine, and I felt as though the vast world had finally narrowed down to this one place, the soul's true sanctuary.